Thank you, Polly. Good morning. I'm Barb Hefner, a member of your parish committee. My pronouns are she, her. We're glad that you're here with us online this morning and grateful that we still remember how to use this technology to do a full remote service. A special welcome to visitors. We look forward to being together with you in our beautiful sanctuary next time. And I hope that you find it to be a place of solace during difficult times, as so many of us do. Our mission is to build community, to search for meaning, to deepen our spirituality, and to make a better world. If you have questions about First Parish or our faith, you can chat with Reverend Lisa or Kate Holland, our Director of Lifespan Education. You'll find their emails under Contact Us on the website, and you could set a time to chat with them. Or when you're at First Parish next time at a service, you can join volunteers at the welcome table, which you'll find downstairs on the first floor in the space that we use for coffee and treats after the service. A big thanks to all other service participants. They're listed in our order of service. And please now take a moment to say hello to one another with a wave to your camera. And next, Kate Holland has an announcement.
Morning. I am Kate Holland, and I'm excited to have this announcement because I have a reminder for everyone. On March 6th, we have active bystander training, which is a great training for all of us to go through. If you are in a situation where you're seeing someone harmed, it gives you tools to go into that situation and de-escalate and help the person that's in that way. And I know I thought initially, like, you think getting in the middle of that is the best thing, and that's not true. Sometimes it is, but very seldom. There are many more tools to use. So my hope is that we can get everyone at First Parish signed up who wants to go. There are limited spots, so I'm hoping that you will sign up. I'm putting a QR code into the chat box. All you need to do is scan that code with your phone, and it'll take you right to the registration. So my hope is if you were thinking about taking the training, that you won't hesitate to sign up, because we want to make sure that everyone can be at the training that wants to be. Thanks.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning. I'm Reverend Lisa Perrywood. I am the interim minister here at First Parish, and we are going to light our chalice. I'm going to light this chalice for all of us. Come on. There we are. And now we say our chalice lighting words. With open minds and loving hearts, we gather to search for meaning, to care for one another, and to work together for a better world. So good morning again. I hope you're all enjoying the beauty of the snowfall this morning. It is still falling out there, at least at my house. I'm glad that none of us had to drive in it. Winter does bring some very cold weather that some of us don't really enjoy, but it also brings the beauty of ice crystals and the bright white of falling snow. I hope you'll just sit back this morning, maybe with a warm beverage in hand, some tea or coffee or hot chocolate, and enjoy this service for all ages. Today, we'll hear about Imbolc, the pagan midwinter festival, which happens in early February, midway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's the festival of the Celtic goddess Bridget, also known as the Queen of Heaven, and it's celebrated with storytelling and poetry, as we will do this morning. You might want to close your eyes as you listen to this first poem. It's an excerpt from Imbolc by Caroline Meller. I am the dream of awakening. I am the tough green shoot pushing up through the paper stones. I am the first case of sunlight on the unfurling petals of the snowdrop. I am the wind which whispers the gentle pull of home to the migratory bird. I am the drop of ice melting on mountainside with its great dream of the ocean. I am the sap rising in the blossom tree just before it reveals its sticky buds to the sky. I am the riotous celebration humming away beneath the earth's mantle of frozen sleep. I am the rousing of the bee from its winter slumber and the soft pad of the mother wolf's paw in the snow as she prepares to birth her pups. I am hope, potential, rebirth, and promise. I am the kindling beneath which transforms the flicker of inspiration in your creative core into a blazing torch. Give me the silent crescent moon rising over the sea, and I will build you a bridge of silver light so you can walk up and lie in it. Give me the frost-hardened wilderness, and I will breathe radiant green life over it. Give me the healer, the writer, the craftsperson, the storyteller, and I will replenish her essence and make her new again. I am the stirring in your belly which knows exactly what you are capable of, and that it's time the world found out. I am the fire within which will not be contained any longer. I am the quickening. I am the serpent uncoiling. I am Imbolc. I am the dream of awakening. In the spirit of the season, the dream of awakening, let's now join in singing Love Will Guide Us. And please stay muted while you sing.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
I should say that the hymns this morning are shared by another congregation, thankfully. Imbolc is an ancient Celtic celebration to honor the first light of spring, the darkness of winter beginning to come to a close. The word Imbolc means in the belly, the time of incubation, germination, readying for the new beginnings of spring. It's also near the time of the Lunar New Year. Imbolc encourages us to have a more cozy, mindful January and early February before diving into the new year ahead. Even though the idea that this week is the welcome of springtime is a bit confusing, especially if it's covered in snow, for thousands of years this has been the tradition, and here's why. Time-wise, it's the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, and though it is a tip towards spring, it's not really meant to be snow melting and grass growing because it's still winter in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the time we start to take the restorative energy of winter and use it as a time for nurturing, preparing, and expecting the coming season. Imbolc is a time for getting ready for the change of seasons, a time to welcome more light back into your life. Imbolc is the seed in the ground just starting to wake up. Even though you can't see it happening, it is. And that is what this celebration is all about. It's also a perfect time to make space and clear out anything that's not needed. It may feel early for spring cleaning, but in fact, it's the perfect time to clean in preparation for the next season. You might take some time in this first half of February to see what you can let go of. What are you giving your energy to that is not serving a positive purpose? The history of Imbolc goes back thousands of years to around the 10th century, and likely earlier, in what is now Ireland and Scotland. The goddess Brigid is the Celtic goddess of fire. She's known throughout practically every religion and region. Brigid is the patron goddess of fertility, poetry, blacksmithing, and the dawn. Since Brigid is the goddess of fire, it's very fitting to celebrate Imbolc with firelight, white or red candles, have a bonfire, gather around the fireplace, and enjoy the warmth and light, symbolic of spring on its way. Seeds are also a symbol of this holiday, so eat muffins, granola, or other food made with seeds. Around this time, many herd animals give birth to their first offspring of the year or are heavily pregnant. As a result, they're producing milk. This creation of life's milk is part of the symbolic hope for spring. Imbolc also celebrates Brigid as a fertility goddess. Over the years, she was adopted by Christianity as Saint Brigid and is the patron saint of Irish nuns, newborns, midwives, dairymaids, and cattle. Brigid is not the only goddess ruling this time of year. The crone Calia ruled the cold and winds, the queen of winter. As tales are told, Calia would gather wood during the day to keep the fire burning so the cold of winter could continue. On Imbolc, if the day was sunny, Calia would emerge and collect firewood, and winter would be longer that year. If the day was cloudy or stormy, she would stay in and the fire would go out sooner, bringing a quicker spring. Does that sound familiar? It reminds us of waiting to see if the groundhog sees its shadow. And that is the story behind Imbolc. And now, in a moment, we're going to pause to enjoy some music. This is the time in the service when we invite your generosity. The offering we give each week is a symbol of our commitment to this faith community and to the life and works of our congregation. Instructions in how to donate online are in the chat, or they're just being put in the chat now. We receive your gifts with gratitude and an appreciation of all that sustains us. This is the time in the service when we share joys and sorrows. I'm going to light this first candle for all the places in the world that need our hopes and our prayers. May they find peace. And now, if you have a joy or a sorrow to share, you can put that in the chat. For all those joys and sorrows that live in our hearts and remain unspoken, we offer peace. Now, settle yourself in for a time of meditation. Close your eyes if you like. Feel your body relax. Feel tension drain away from your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your torso, your legs. The whole of your body calm and heavy in relaxation. Center yourself. Feel that calm, comfortable center in which you are whole. Ground yourself. Extend yourself into the earth. Feel as your roots grow into the ground, as you find your connectedness with the earth again. This is the time of Imbolc, the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. The sun has begun its journey back to full strength. The sun is potential, waiting to be realized. The days lengthen, the nights shorten. Each day the sun brings a little more warmth, foretelling the thaw to come. For now, though, the earth remains in slumber. Spring still only a faint whisper. Extend your senses beyond the walls to the world outside. Smell the crisp air and the hard frosts that grip the land. The cold grabs the inside of your nose, and every breath is a gasp. See the dark gray skies. Sharp ice crystals bite into your cheeks as the wind whips the tops off the snowdrifts. A branch breaks with a loud snap as cracks caused by summer storms finally lose their battle with the weight of heavy snows. Foxes sleep snug in their dens, as sparrows fight for a chance at the feeder not always refilled. The bright flash of a cardinal contrasts starkly with the white snow. A red gash across a barren landscape. Ice coats the twigs and chimes in the breezes. Rebirth seems remote. Even the call of the goose is a distant memory. But look into the barns and fields. See the first new calves and lambs are being born. They struggle up on unsteady limbs, symbols of the green waiting to explode from the still frozen soil. This is the time of change, the promise of sprouting of seeds sown in seasons past. Bridget stokes these fires, inspiring the singer, the woodworker, the healer. Fertility and creativity begin to flow in this dormant season. Small things born at the solstice begin to manifest. The fires in our hearths are kindled. The fires of creativity. Feel the warmth. Music rings, voices flow. Living beauty is born from idle words and actions. The fire of transformation, from the depths of winter into the rebirth of spring. Now slowly, gradually, come back inside. Come back to us. Begin to sense the world right here. Prepare yourself to celebrate this season of Bridget, this season of fire, this season of changes. Rouse yourself. Be ready to grab the spoke and turn the wheel past the numbing cold of winter to the promise of spring. And now I invite you to take a moment to refresh your warm drink and then sit back and get ready to listen to this story as retold by Starhawk. It's one of the many origin stories of Imbolc. Once there were a sister and brother, Bridget and Alex, who lived where winter brought deep snow and cold. They loved to play in the snow, making snow people, digging tunnels, having snowball fights. But every year, they waited eagerly for Bridget's holiday. They knew it meant the days would get longer and spring would come again. One year, winter was very harsh. Day after day, the snow piled up. Night after night, cold winds howled, blowing smoke down the chimneys. Bridget and Alex grew tired of staying home. When the days were too cold to play outside, even with their warmest jackets and mittens and all the scarves they could put on. When they went outside, they waddled like penguins. They grew tired of making snow people and forts. How long will winter last, they asked their mother. Only the goddess knows, she said. Where can we find her to ask her? Bridget asked. Their mother smiled. Light a candle on Bridget Eve, look into the flame with an open heart, and who knows, maybe she'll come to you. After all, you're named for her. On Bridget Eve, the children lit a candle, placed it on the table, looking deep into the flame. Soon the flame grew and grew till it filled the room with glorious light, and a beautiful woman appeared. Her hair bright as living fire, her fair face dark as old wood, her cloak golden as a sunbeam. I am Bridget of the holy well and sacred flame, she said. Why have you called me, my children? Oh, Bridget, I am named after you, said the girl. We called you to ask, how long will winter last? Winter will last until clean water rises in the sacred well and bright flames burn on every hearth, the goddess said. Then she disappeared. What does she mean? The children asked. Their mother could not say. They asked their father. He just winked and said, that's the trouble with the goddess. It's hard to get a straight answer out of her. So they went to bed unsatisfied. Next morning, they decided to go from house to house to see if a good warm fire was burning on every hearth, and ask everyone if they knew anything about a sacred well. They bundled up in their warmest jackets and mittens with all the scarves they could put on and waddled outside like penguins. House to house they went. On every hearth, a warm fire burned. And while people were kind, offering good things to eat and drink, nobody knew about a sacred well. At last, they visited every house but one. Only the cottage of Old Man Mad Dog was left across the frozen fields on the edge of the forest. He was crusty and mean, He didn't seem to bathe very often, and he was a stranger from far away. When children came near, he yelled, shaking his big walking stick. When other people in the village were working hard, old man Mad Dog sat on his porch, rocking in his old chair and smoking his pipe. Stay away from him, parents said. He's a foreigner, lazy and dirty and probably dangerous. The children stayed away. But now, Bridget and Alice could see the roof of old man Mad Dog's house. There was no smoke coming from his chimney. Surely the goddess couldn't mean we're supposed to light a fire on his hearth, Alex said. I'm afraid of him. He'd probably yell at us and shake his stick, Bridget agreed. Still, we should see if he has a fire. So they did, wading through the deep snow and at last coming to old man Mad Dog's house. The door was closed. No smoke came from the chimney. Let's look in the window first, said Alex. Peering in, they saw old man Mad Dog lying on his bed. There was no fire on his hearth. Maybe he's sick, Bridget said. We'd better go in and see. The door wasn't locked, so they entered the room. It was cold as the cold air outside, and dirtier than they had ever seen. Old man Mad Dog lay on his bed, moaning and shivering with fever. We have to help him, Bridget said. She brought him water. Alex took an old blanket, shook it outside, and covered the old man. They ran into the forest, gathering wood into a big pile, and lit a fire on the hearth. Soon the room grew warm. They found potatoes, carrots, and onions, and cooked hot soup. While it simmered, they cleaned the house and washed the dishes. Finally, old man Mad Dog was warm enough to sit up and drink some soup. Pesky children, he said gruffly. I never did like children. Still, I suppose I should thank you. That would be polite, Bridget said. What we really want to know is if you've heard of a holy well near here, Alex said. Holy well, jingle bell, said old man Mad Dog. The only well I know is that old fallen-in well in the woods, all full of garbage. Bridget and Alex looked at each other. Garbage? That didn't sound very holy. Still, it was the only well they'd heard about. I guess we better go look, Alex said. We'll bring more wood before we go, and we'll send our mother and father to care for you. Don't do me any favors, said old man Mad Dog, but they suspected he didn't mean it. Once again, they bundled up in their warmest jackets, mittens, and scarves and waddled outside like penguins. They went deep into the forest. At last, they came to a clearing. In the center was a ring of stones, all tumbled down and scattered. They looked inside and saw nothing but a puddle of frozen mud, choked with stones and leaves and garbage. Could that be the holy well? Bridget asked. It doesn't look like it, said Alex, but if we clear it a bit, maybe we'll see some water. They pried up stones and cans and bottles and rotting papers. Bridget carried away the fallen leaves. Alex scooped out the mud. Soon, clear water began to rise up. We can't do more, Alex said. It's getting dark. We'll come back tomorrow with a shovel. At least we've begun, said Bridget. You've done well, a voice said behind them. Turning, they saw a beautiful woman with hair bright as flame and a face dark as old wood. You've begun the work. That's all anyone can do. Is this your holy well? Bridget asked the goddess. Yes. Long ago, people of the village tended my well carefully, kept it clean, and dressed it with flowers in the spring. Now they've forgotten the way here, just as they've forgotten the law of kindness to strangers. Without the warmth of loving kindness, how can the days grow warm again? When my clear springs are choked with dirt, how can the rains of spring fall? We'll remind them, Bridget promised. We'll bring everyone out here to finish cleaning up the well. And we'll make sure to keep a warm fire burning in Old Man Mad Dog's hearth, Alex added, even if he isn't very nice. The goddess smiled. Good. You have lit my fire and cleaned my well. And now I'll tell you a secret. Inside the heart of every girl and boy, every person is a holy well, full of the waters of love and joy and new ideas. This is the well we must keep clean. It can easily be choked by hatred and greed and selfishness. And inside of each of you is also a fire you must tend and feed and keep burning so that you grow to be strong and wise and brave. Will you do that? We'll do our best, they promised. And now will spring come? Bridget asks. Spring will come, the goddess promised, and she winked at them. Spring will come as soon as winter is over. And it did. More than anything, celebrating Imbolc connects us to the thread of hope. It reminds us that no matter how cold the night, no winter lasts forever. Imbolc sings to us of the promise of the coming spring. It reminds us that it's time to start shaking off some of the deep sleep of winter so we can be ready when the air grows warm once more. It reminds us to prepare our hearts, as Bridget told the children, our holy wells, full of the waters of love and joy and new ideas. These are the wells that we must keep clean, that are easily choked by hatred and greed and selfishness. It reminds us to welcome the stranger, the foreigner, to care for them, no matter how different they may seem. Inside each of us also is a fire we must tend and feed and keep burning, so that we are strong and wise and brave for what is to come. I invite you to place your hand on your heart now and imagine touching that well inside of you, a well of love and joy, of strength and wisdom for the days to come. May the preparations we make in our hearts and bodies and minds and spirits herald a joyous spring ahead. I wish you all a blessed Imbolc. May it be so. And now we are going to hear and sing along, muted. My Life Flows On.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roars? I know the truth, it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing. To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
I hope you've enjoyed our service this morning and especially enjoyed the music of the music director at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto, as well as our own Holly Oliver and our choir. Wonderful. These are the words of Andrew Pikula. May you know fully and deeply the blessings of each of your heart's seasons. The inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless steady growth of summer, and autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold, and by the light of love to guide you on. Dear friends, take all that we have shared here this morning out into the world. Be a blessing to all those you meet, and may you yourselves be blessed. Amen. Wonderful to be with you all this morning, and I will extinguish our chalice.